Because it was so traumatic, everybody felt that something should be done quickly. So by the end of 2019, the community realised that if we were going to do anything, we would have to do it ourselves. And therefore we formed the Community Council Flooding Issues Group, FIG, to coordinate the things that we might be able to do locally.
And we very quickly realised there were areas where we could have an impact and we could make things better for Ballater as a community. I think first of all, our emergency procedure, we revamped it, doing a lot of work with Police Scotland, Scottish Fire and Rescue, heavily based on SEPA flood warnings and SEPA flood alerts. Secondly, it's clear that individuals, both residential and business owners, they have their own responsibility for protecting their property from flooding, but they need a bit of help. So we contacted Scottish Flood Forum, and they've come to the village on a number of occasions promoting what we refer to as property level protection. So what can you do to your property to prevent water getting inside? We worked hard on all those issues, and the village is progressing. We are more resilient now than we were 10 years ago. There's still plenty to do, but we're in a better place now than we were. We worked with Aberdeenshire Council and we identified an area where we could make some improvements, and that's what led to the Hesco Box Bun, a flood embankment wall which was installed through a community-driven effort which now allows the village to be more resilient to flooding than it was before.
One of the things that we learned from talking to everybody was that a common view was that we ought to try and keep more water upstream. And it was that drove us to talk to the Park Authority, to say to the Park Authority, what can we do together to encourage water being kept upstream?
Rivers, I guess, historically have been really modified by people, so we've done things like straightening rivers or embanking them and changing kind of their form, but also things like draining wet ground and changing vegetation and things. And all of that's kind of had an impact on how the river and the catchment as a whole behaves, and in general it tends to make the rivers less resilient to things like lots of rain and big flooding and drought. And now, you know, with climate change we're seeing more and more of that, so it's really important that we can kind of restore some of that resilience to the rivers and the catchments, and also adapt and mitigate some of those impacts of climate change which are kind of happening more and more now. As part of the project, we're supporting the Ballater Flooding Issues Group. They are very much taking the lead on the kind of action that they're doing on the ground, and they've taken the lead and gone out and commissioned a study to look at what kind of could be done in and around Ballater to try and mitigate some of the flood risk at certain flood levels and hopefully bring something to delivery. As well as working with this community group here in Ballater, we're also directly delivering a big restoration project in the Upper Dee, so upstream of Braemar, where we'll be kind of restoring natural processes to the river and the floodplain in that area. And when we're looking at kind of catchment and river restoration, there's various different ways that might look like. So it might be tree planting in certain areas, restoring peatland, re-wetting wetlands or floodplains.
You have residential properties, you have businesses, you have farmers. All the riverside nature will benefit from smoothing the flow. Freshwater mussels, Atlantic salmon, we're all in it together and everybody should benefit. You need everybody to work together as a team. There may be compromises, but there shouldn't be conflict. And if we work together as a team, we will be able to move forward on a subject that is far from easy.